like a really critical moment for the college. It's an opportunity to really take stock of where we've been and where we want to go. And the challenges are a lot more complex in many ways than they were 20 plus years ago. So I would love to see this group really try to start with imagining what would make the most sense for this, almost as if you were starting from scratch, but hopefully maintaining the values
Right.
of supporting our students through the process of responding to our community and the
Right. This is where LAC has been in the past. These are the values and the kind of goals that the college has had in the past. And then sort of say, all right, this is where we are now. We've evolved over the 23 years that we've been here so far, now into the 24th year. So, all right, what are we going to do next? How do we adhere to those values? How do we retain our commitment to the original values? And do those need to change? Lewiston Auburn College is a result of a community that felt a strong need for public baccalaureate education available to people who reside in the greater Androscoggin Valley. And in a term that I think characterized this community, there was a ferocity.
Yes.
There was a ferocious goal that they were going to fight. They were going to fight the governor. They were going to fight the board of trustees. They were going to fight the chancellor, because this was what they wanted.
Yes, they wanted education that was relevant and accessible and local, and they wanted to be able to maintain some kind of control over the content of the programming of that education, so that it would really respond to this community.
And I think it's apt that the college is in an industrial park.
Yes.
And it's in an old tennis building. And it was sort of on the fly, if you remember that summer that we both interviewed, there was nothing in the building.
Right. Right.
They were pouring cement sort of as we were opening. And the workers worked over the Labor Day weekend to try to make sure that their classrooms and their bathrooms were working. And because we had to open, that was
That's
a
right.
commitment in the fall of 1988, that there would be a college here.
But the other thing too is that in the planning processes, you really had the community members working with folks from the university system in a very integral way that you don't often see in a university setting, because they were very clear that they understood the value of liberal arts,
Yeah.
in addition to the need to prepare citizens for jobs in this community.
And as a result of the initial planning process, where they did extensive focus groups, surveys, interviewed community leaders, the result was, no, we don't want that. We want people who have what we call the liberal arts skills, that are good communicators, good critical thinkers, problem solvers, working well with other people in groups. And that was the hallmark. They wanted the integration of the liberal arts with professional studies.
So I think we had a really unique opportunity to develop curriculum with folks who were going to hire the people who went through our programs in the room with us.
Right.
That doesn't happen very often in academia.
I know. And we've had about 4 or 5 major planning efforts since we opened. And I think at least we've tried to, in each of those instances, to try to, as much as possible, include students and community people through community advisory board or other groups.
When I was going over your notes, Mark, of the timeline of planning efforts here, it was just very interesting to me to see that we start back in '98 with a real clear focus on the student and responsiveness to this region and this community, and the college as a resource here.
The opportunity for the strategic planning that's starting in 2011 is the opportunity to go back to our roots,
Uh-huh.
essentially, and working with people who are here, who know this community, know the employment needs, know the needs for community leaders, and to provide us with really useful input in terms of the future directions of the college.
And note that way back in 1984, planners were acknowledging, this was before either of us were hired,
Yeah.
that the college needed to be designed to change with the times. That struck me this morning.
I know. I think in terms of changing with the times, obviously the nature of the economy has changed. The nature of jobs keeps changing. There are generational differences in terms of of attitudes toward technology that we have to take into account because we now offer a degree that's fully online. I don't know if we'd even thought that, we wouldn't even thought of that
No.
in 1988.
It wasn't even an option.
Yeah.